And welcome back everyone to Let's Play Agatha Christie's and then there were none, and I'm really getting into this game now. I am Classic Gamer, of course, bringing you another classic adventure game that I play, which I actually enjoyed when I first played it. I only played it once, so it hasn't been for quite a while. That's why I can't remember a lot of it. But when I played it for the first time, I did really enjoy it. It was a good, honest murder mystery with great it's a nice point and click adventure, nothing too, it doesn't make you think too much. Well, it does make you think at times, but the exception of that, it's very good. But let's talk to the husband of the latest deceased.
Hello, Rogers.
Hello, sir. Was there anything you required?
Just looking around. That ham looks good.
Mrs. Rogers had a way with hams. Baked, boiled, fried, pickled, en casserole. Always a treat.
When will dinner be ready?
8 o'clock, sir. Or close to it.
Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary since you arrived here, Rogers?
Just this, sir. This house is more like a museum than a residence. I've dusted every square inch, and I've found articles left behind by many previous owners, including the Robsons, that actress, and even the Admiralty. The only owners who seem to have left no mark at all are Mr. and Mrs. Owen.
I appreciate your candor, Mr. Rogers. The body was thoroughly searched. No need to disturb it now.
Right, let's go upstairs. See if we can find the other dead guy's room. I think you actually have to go outside and look around the island before you actually get a trigger for the next time someone dies.
No need to call unnecessary attention to my snooping.
Oh, okay, maybe you're right. So I did actually want to just do a decent amount of recording, so at least then I can have another game that I can upload. And I've only had Spider-Man, so that's why a lot of the games recently up until this video has probably mostly been Spider-Man. But I've now completed that. That's now finished. I'm pleased to say. I'm so glad it's finally done, because honestly, I was getting sick of that game towards the end of it. Excuse me. I do apologise. That was rather disgusting.
It would be incredibly improper for me to go through a lady's luggage. I won't do it.
So obviously I can actually make these videos relatively long, because they're not, it doesn't really matter if I do them long or short, because this game does not actually make big files, although the longer files may be a bit bigger, but I would say they'll be more than like 10 gig like the other ones were. Like Spider-Man was a huge game. A 20-minute file is 10 gig. I mean, that is just ridiculous. But Action has a tendency to do this is actually running really well, this game. It's running at 60 frames.
The body was thoroughly searched. No need to disturb it now. This is neither the time nor the place.
Let's go and explore outside. Now the storm's let off, we can actually go for some exploring. I'm just going to do something else first. Take that.
Nice to have a break in the weather, although I don't expect it will last.
You don't seem concerned by the 2 deaths.
I remember a text that hung in my nursery as a child. Be sure thy sin will find thee out.
So in some way, Marston's and Mrs. Rogers' sins have found them out?
Of course. I have nothing to fear. I've committed no sin. You, if your story is true, have only been protecting your brother. God's law understands such a loving gesture, even if man's law does not.
What are you knitting?
A shawl for my niece.
It's quite subdued for a girl, isn't it?
A man would say that, of course. She is a modest child, and decent. These colors are most appropriate.
Have you seen Rogers?
He's in the kitchen, I think, preparing a cold supper.
Thank you, Miss Brent.
Oh, it's let up a little bit. Let's go and explore the island. Let's head down this way first.
Standing here isn't helping anything. No, these rocks are too precarious to climb.
That's actually quite funny.
Maybe Owen has wings and is perched someplace we can't reach.
Or swimming around out there with the fish.
You think you'll find Owen?
If he's here, we'll find him.
Why don't you split up?
I suggested that.
The island isn't that big. I felt it was good to stick together to be sure every inch has been covered.
Have you seen Vera?
Miss Claythorne was up on Ship Rock when we searched up there.
Have you seen the General?
He was down on that little beach to the south of Ship Rock. He's definitely gaga, if you ask me.
Like he was in a trance, talking to his wife, asking her forgiveness. Creepy. He sent that Richmond fellow to his death for playing up to the missus. Make no mistake about that.
You look tired.
Miss Claythorne's concern for my well-being moves me far more than yours, Narrowcut. But thanks all the same.
Any conclusions?
Only that I'm damn glad I brought this along.
You have a gun? Why didn't you say something?
I would have used it if necessary.
Still, I don't like it very much.
Well, I don't care very much.
Any idea how we can get off the island?
When I was... well, a friend of mine, actually. When he was in the army, he saw a new parachute design that allowed you to steer. If you like, I can draw you a plan to construct a parachute like the one he saw.
That would be splendid. Thank you.
One parachute per order. It's pretty crude, but I think you'll get the idea. I added a list of materials, too.
Thanks. That'll be
Why
all.
is he doing that? Well, he's probably wise to be on the list. And like I say, I have a suspicion of who I think it is, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
Nice peaceful spot you found for yourself, sir.
There is so little time. So little time.
I'm making a tour of the island, so to speak.
Quite the adventurer, aren't you?
Have you seen anything that might be useful to us?
You don't understand. You don't understand at all. I'm not sorry I came here. Oh, it was time. I'm content at last. It feels very strange to come to the end, not have to go on. I know now I will never leave. That's peace. Real peace.
Good day to you, General.
Alright, let's continue our exploring, shall we?
Seems so close. As if I could almost jump across and leave this island behind me.
I'd hate for you to jump, Miss Claythorne. I'd miss you.
I think I'd miss you too.
Think someone on shore could see us?
If they used a telescope like the one on the patio outside my room, I expect they might.
What do you think of Lombard?
I think he's like last night's storm. Dark and wild and possibly dangerous.
But you like him even so?
I love storms.
Have you ever been in love?
I thought I was. I thought I could do anything for him.
What happened?
I'd rather not talk about it, if you don't mind.
I'm sorry the job here didn't work out for you.
It was only temporary. I want to be a teacher, not a secretary. I want another chance to teach more than anything in the world.
Tell me about yourself.
Mr. Narracott, would you think me terribly rude if I just wanted to stand here and look at the scenery before the next storm closes in?
No, I'm sorry I bothered you.
Oh, you didn't bother me. Quite the contrary. But now I'd just like to enjoy the scenery.
Well, you do that. Let's keep exploring.
I need to subdue the bees first. They'll do me in for sure if I disrupt their artificial home. I won't do that. That isn't such a good idea.
You can get lost on this island quite easily.
It's an old windmill. Impossible to say what it powers, if anything.
Well, I'm at the back door of the house. I don't want to go this way. Going around the same route again. Quite fitting, this music.
Not many apples in this orchard. I suppose I'd blame the lack of sun. There are some suitable looking apples up near the top of this tree, but I can't reach them. That goat is a menace.
I wonder, what would happen if you give them the apples?
That doesn't make sense. Perhaps another time.
Can't go that way then, obviously.
Goats. They look hungry. This thicket is rife with thorns. I can't get through it. I won't do that. I don't think that's appropriate. That isn't going to help.
Well, I do, because they're goats and they like apples. So I would appreciate it if you would do what I tell you to do, Mr. Narracott. I have to go back all the way round again now.
No one's hiding in there. I'd stake my reputation on it.
I've done some hunting in my day for some very elusive game. If Owen's in that house, he must be invisible.
Any luck at all?
There's no one on this island except our 9 selves.
Where haven't you searched?
The woodshed. I should have guessed he might be out there.
Have you reached any conclusions?
Maybe it was just an accident and a suicide. Or 2 accidents or 2 suicides for all I know.
That is all for now, Mr. Bloor.
Very, very strange.
Woodshed is empty.
This is a dead end. If Owen's buried under that woodpile, good riddance to him.
Have you searched the entire island?
Early days yet. Plenty of ground still to cover.
That'll do, Mr. Bloor.
What's that?
This could use a closer look.
Oh, empty promises. Dark memories haunting you. The fuel for pleasant thoughts must be found before it lies in ruins. Yeah, another little clue there, although I can't actually remember what these clues actually mean.
I can't walk around carrying an axe. They'll lock me up, or worse. The generator seems to be working fine. The generator seems to be working fine. The generator seems to be working fine.
We're picking up quite a lot of stuff here. Where does that go to? Oh, back in the kitchen. Interesting.
grass is slippery and the slope is steep. I'd best stick to the path.
Right, I think we need to go back inside the house. I think. Or we could just have a look for them, at those two again, which I might actually do. No, you know what? I'm going to go back in the house. I don't actually know what I need to do. I can't actually remember what I need to do. See if we can talk to the doctor.
I asked Rogers what this Miss Brady had suffered from. In a certain form of cardiac trouble, when an attack comes on, an ampule of amyl nitrate is broken and inhaled. If amyl nitrate were withheld...
I see. No positive action must be taken. No arsenic to obtain and administer. Nothing definite at all.
And nothing could be proved against Rogers or his wife.
It explains our situation here quite neatly. There are crimes that cannot be brought home to their perpetrators by the usual methods.
A judge taking advantage of his position? No offense, Judge.
A doctor under the influence letting a scalpel slip? No offense, Doctor. The point is, it explains Mr. Unknown. He has, for reasons only he knows, decided to seek justice for certain crimes as he sees them.
And who among us is the only one that stands unaccused?
Ah, Mr. Narracott, right on cue.
Have you seen any of the others?
Before we came in here, I saw Miss Brent knitting on the patio as if she hadn't a care in the world.
Could you perform an autopsy on Mrs. Rogers?
I could, sir, but I won't. As Mr. Lombard so helpfully pointed out, it might be thought I had something to do with her death. It would be unethical for me to operate.
How much Trianol is missing from your supply?
I wouldn't know. I left the bottle with Rogers in case his wife required a second draft.
Good day to you, Doctor. Have you seen any of the others?
I believe Mr. Blore and Mr. Lombard are off searching the island for Mr. Owen.
You didn't want to join them?
They are men accustomed to physical activity. I prefer to search for the truth with my mind.
Me too.
You think they'll find Mr. Owen?
Not in the sense you mean.
Where would you search for Mr. Owen?
Closer to home.
Any idea how we can get off the island?
I've allowed you to continue your own investigations, Mr. Narracott, because I disagree that being the odd man out makes you more suspect. On the contrary. But I've given you a good deal of advice already. It would be well if you thought for yourself for a while and let us get on with our game.
Good day to you,
That cues it.
The wind is picking up again, and there are white horses in the sea.
Has anyone seen the good doctor?
Here I am, Judge, just freshening up in my room before dinner.
How did your search go, Mr. Lombard?
Badly, Judge. I'm afraid I found nothing and lost Mr. Blore.
There's a squall moving in again. Shiprock's become quite windy.
Rogers? What is it, man?
The figures, sir. The figures in the middle of the table. Look, now another's gone. There's only 7. It doesn't make sense. What's going on? What's happening?
We can discuss this new development over dinner. It's ready, Rogers?
Yes, sir. It's only cold tongue and cold ham, sir.
We understand, Rogers.
Where's the General?
Last time I saw him was on that beach. You asked me about him, Narracott. Did you find him there?
Yes.
Did he say anything to you?
His mind was wandering.
Perhaps you'd be so good as to fetch the General, Mr. Narracott. We'll delay dinner for you both.
No need for that. He's dead. Down there on the beach, leaning against a rock like a stick of driftwood.
Chapter 4. 7 little sailor boys chopping up sticks.
Oh dear.
One chopped himself in halves, and then there were 6.
Rogers is a first-class butler. I'll say that for him.
Wife was a pretty good cook, too. Too bad we only got 1 meal out of her.
Ladies and gentlemen, back to the business at hand. I'm going to ask Mr. Narracott to continue his investigation.
But he's the last one who saw the General alive.
The last one who is willing to admit to it. Mr. Narracott?
Right. Let's quickly talk to these guys and I'll call that a video.
Cause of death, Doctor? The back of his skull was crushed to the blunt end. Would the General's death have been an accident? There were multiple wounds. Unless he repeatedly slammed the back of his head against a rock, I think we can safely rule out accident and suicide. Which confirms what we've all come to suspect. The first 2 deaths were undoubtedly murder as well. Period of time. Why, the judge and I were playing snooker.
Forgive me, Doctor, but you went to your room, if you'll recall.
Oh, of course, of course. For a moment or two only. If you'll excuse me, Doctor.
Right, let's talk to Blore.
7 little sailor boys. Accurate.
This is kind of like the order that the guys that I'm watching on the LP are doing it in, and this a bit sore with it.
Where were you during the half-hour in question?
I won't deny that Lombard and I had split up by then. I was just wondering, collecting my thoughts, you might say.
How did you come to find Buddy?
I'd seen the old gent down on the beach when we searched the island. He seemed pretty confused. I saw the storm coming on, knew it was almost supper time. Thought I'd collect it.
See anyone else on the beach?
No, no one.
See anything of a murder weapon?
Plenty of solid Devon rocks about. I didn't see any blood. A rock would have spot in the surf.
One said he'd stay right there, and then there were 7.
Thank you, Miss Claythorne, for again calling our attention to one. It is significant without a doubt. We have one for having choked himself. Another overslept herself. Now a third which is named Devon, and his wish is granted to him in a most final manner.
That is all for now, Miss Moore. Where were you during the half-hour in question?
I'm on ship when we spoke.
The entire time?
Yes, until the wind came up. I thought I should get back before the storm.
You could see the beach from where you were?
I spent most of my time on the far side of the summit. But I did move to a position of a beach once or twice. I saw you took his den from there.
Yes. He seemed to know he was going to die.
Could that be because you were swinging a rock at his head?
He was quite alive when I left. Did you see anything else on the beach?
Yes, I saw him. Mr. Lombard and Miss Blore walking on the beach. That was earlier.
Anything else in that area?
No, nothing, I'm afraid.
Thank you for your help. Where were you during the half-hour in question?
After Blore wandered off, I went back to that ruined fishing village. It seemed the most likely place for Owen to be hiding. When the weather closed in, I made a dash back here to the house.
Find any trace of Owen or anyone else on the island apart from us?
No, I wish I had.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Not at the
Okay,
moment.
Good evening.
let's talk to the last 2 over here. Oh, and Blore, of course. Have we spoken to Blore? Yes, we have spoken to Blore.
Where were you during the half-hour question?
On the front patio, knitting. I'd been there since just after breakfast. You spoke with me there.
We saw her too after we'd searched the house.
Thank you, Mr. Lombard, but I feel bound to add that there were many stretches of time throughout the morning when I was quite alone.
Who else did you see?
Almost everyone at one time or another, I should think. I saw the General walk off along that path towards Ship Rock. A minute or 2 later, Miss Claythorne headed in the same direction.
He went to the beach. I climbed the rock.
Rogers was also near me for a time, sweeping away some of the debris on the patio from last night's storm.
Very tidy chap, that Rogers.
I don't know if it's important, but I heard someone up above me near the telescope. But I don't know who it was.
Thank you, Miss Brent. Where were you during the half-hour in question?
After the doctor and I finished our game, I had a look around the library. I'm surprised to say I found one of my own books in there. I wonder which of the previous inhabitants of the island it belonged to.
Why not Owen?
My dear Mr. Blore, it was perfectly clear to me some time ago, and after your search you must realize now as well. Mr. Owen is on this island. He, or she, is one of us.
No, no, no.
Young lady, this is no time for refusing to look facts in the face. We are all in grave danger. One of us is Mr. Unknown, and Mr. Unknown has no good planned for us.
I'm a well-known professional man. The mere idea that I could be suspected of murder is preposterous.
I too am a well-known person. That, my dear sir, proves less than nothing. Doctors have gone mad before now. Judges have gone mad. So have policemen.
What do you think we should do, Judge?
Be on our guard, especially at night.
I'd suggest prayer.
I'm not adverse to prayer, Miss Brent, but I would supplement it with a locked door.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Yes. I've been asked why I trust you, Mr. Narracott, our odd man out, to lead these informal inquiries of ours. It is very simple. It is clear to me that Mr. Owen had not planned on you stopping here on the island with us.
Unless Blore is Owen.
Stow that talk, Doctor.
An attempt has been made on your life.
So he says.
Right now, there is no one I trust more to get us out of this predicament.
Prettily spoken, Judge. I know you'll pardon me for saying this, but if you were Owen, you might want a bumbling amateur on the case more than a professional like Blore.
I would hope we all answer Mr.
Right,
Blore's
guys, well, I'm
questions
going to call
with
that here.
equal candor.
Too right.
Thank you kindly,
And I'm
Judge.
going to save the game. And I'm going to call that a video. So thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, drop me a like and leave me a comment. I'll see you next time. Ta-ta for now.